anybody is married as short as he was. He was married for 5 days. How long? 5 days. That's it. And after 5 days, his wife left him because they had a huge fight. I told you power struggle. They started with a power struggle. There was a huge fight started between him and his wife left him. And when his wife left him, like it happens, his family got involved in the marriage. Her family got involved in the marriage. They had family meeting. Nothing worked. He went to the temple. He went to the mosque. He did everything possible. He went for counseling. He did everything possible. But no matter what he did, things didn't work out. Then the case was put in the court. They fought in the court for the next 5 years. Their case reached the High Court of Maharashtra. And one fine day, just like you, he looked at my ads. He got inspired, just like you. He attended the master class and then he took action. He made a decision and then he took action. And listen to what happened. He was just married for 5 days. I want you to get inspired because after this, I'm going to teach you.
Soon after our marriage, we have some conflicts in our home, and it turns into big conflicts. And hardly after 5 days or 7 days after our marriage, she left me. She went to her house, and then my parents and her parents, they intervene, and they think they do things more complicated, and then the relatives, and then the neighbors, the friends, and all things. And I did the same mistake all of us do. I keep on telling my friends and my relatives that I am facing this, I am facing this, what to do, and all those wrong advices make my problems worst, nothing else. Then I tried everything. I tried visiting to temples. I tried meditation. Then I tried counseling. Then we had many counseling sessions in court also, but nothing worked. Then I was losing my hopes. Then we were fighting with each other in courts very aggressively. Our case went in the high court of our state. So it was the last court of our state. So you can estimate with how much aggression we were fighting with each other. And our cases were on their end stage. Okay. And somewhere with the grace of God,
For how many years was this going
5 years. It took 5 years of my life. Okay. Me and my wife's life. It took 5 years. Okay. Then somewhere by God's grace, I meet or I read about Wall, sir. So the first time in my life, or the first time in last 5 years, actually Wall was the first person who showed me the mirror. Okay, so how I am wrong. Then I started attending session. I started reading. Then I was just following him, and then slowly the things started changing in a positive way. Through my behaviors, somewhere she also noticed that I have changed, and she started trusting me. So that was my first biggest achievement in our relationship. On that day, we were actually ready to live with each other. It was a very happy and a very win-win situation. I also won, my wife also won, our both families won. Okay. So the judge was also very happy. Wow. And and we told the judge that we are ready to cohabit with each other. And everybody was, means it's a very rare moment in court. Everybody was stress free, everybody was happy, and it was a very beautiful day.
Amazing, isn't it? If it is amazing for you, write amazing in the chat box because this is what is possible for you. And when you're writing amazing, you're also wishing for yourself. Write amazing in the chat box if you found that amazing. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I really appreciate each one of you who are writing amazing in the chat box. Now, the third one is there are some of you who would be saying to me, Val, I'm going to come to that. Okay, don't worry. Like, people are asking me how. I'm going to come to that. But I want you to know, first, it is possible. Because the world says, no, you can't come together. Once a divorce happens, it is the end. Once you are going through a divorce, once you're going through a separation, you can't have love. People say, right? Once something is broken, you can't fix it. So I'm going to show you a different way. All right. Now, right now, there will be some of you would be saying that, well, I understand everything. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to get into any program you're saying. I'm willing to invest any amount. But the problem in my marriage is I'm totally blocked. I'm totally blocked right now. So how will things change? How many of you are like this? Write me in the chat box where you're totally blocked. How will my wife get to know that I've changed? That is the question that you have. Write me in the chat box. Now let's understand first. Thank you. Let's understand first why your wife blocked you. When your wife left you, either you were very angry and you would have blocked her, or you might not have blocked her, she has blocked you, and then you started contacting her. And when you contact her, either you would have asked questions like, for example, kyun kar rahi ho aise? Why are you doing this? Why can't you come back? Or you would have asked for forgiveness. You would have begged her. You would have convinced her. If that is true, write true in the chat box. Write true in the chat box if that is true. You convinced her, begged her, asked her to come back. And more you did that, she blocked you. Now, even if you don't learn things and she unblocks you, you're going to do exactly the same thing. But here is a man who was the different. And what he did was, instead of doing the things, I'm going to teach you the 5 things after this. He followed those 5 things and things started changing. And here is an important part. He was, like many of you could be saying that, we live in a different city, we live in a different state. He was living in a different country. She was in India and he was in some other country. And he was totally blocked, and he could bring back love. So listen to his story, get inspired, then I'll teach you the 5 things. So blocked on all channels and now talking every day. Listen to him.
When I started off, it was all fights, and then finally getting blocked, and then, the works. Right now, we are speaking, me and my spouse are speaking every day, multiple times on video calls. I wish I could meet her. In fact, I stay in different countries, so I'm not able to meet her as frequently as I would like to. Right now, we are interacting on a daily basis. I'm getting to play with my children, though virtually, yes, but I think I'm getting close. My wife and I are having moments of laughter and enjoyment. The journey is becoming much smoother. And finally, I think it's important to mention, as they say, you get in company of awesome husbands, people who are trying to become awesome and who have been in that journey. It's such a pleasure to talk to all of them and learn from them, learn from their insights, because as they always say, you are as good as the company you keep. I would like to leave you with those thoughts and take your decision quickly to join this group of amazing husbands.
I want you to write right now, I can. Because if I can change your belief, I will be able to help you to bring back love. And that's why I showed you so many stories. Write I can in the chat box. I want you to believe, because everything begins with the belief. If you don't have the belief, things will not work. No matter what I teach you, your brain will say, "Arey yaar, ye sab bakwas hai. This will not work." But now you know that it works. So I'm going to teach you 5 things right now. I want you to make notes. There are 5 things you got to learn. The first one is this. Let me come here. The first one about becoming a modern alpha husband, bringing back love, bringing back that connection is this. You got to change her decision. I'm going to teach you how to change her decision right now. I'm going to give you simple examples. You got to change her decision. Let's start. Right now, your wife's decision is not to be with you. Your wife's decision is to leave you. Right now, your wife's decision is to apply to get a divorce. Right now, your wife's decision could be not to talk to you, not to interact with you, not to have a physical intimacy. Now, how do you change that decision? I'm going to give you a simple example for you to understand how you did it earlier. Now, think about the time you met your wife. The first time you met your wife, where did you meet your wife for the first time? I'm talking about before marriage, before your wedding. Where did you meet your wife for the first time? Is it in her house, your house, in college? Where did you meet your wife for the first time? Or in the workplace, where did you meet your wife for the first time? And when you met your wife for the first time, imagine that you told her, मुझे शादी कर लो and get married to me in the next 2 hours. What do you think your wife would have said? She would have said, I don't even know you. How can I get married to you? It meant that she had zero trust on you. And after that, in the next 3 months, 6 months, her trust level went up and she got married to you. Did you beg her? No. Did you convince her? No. Did you ask for forgiveness to get her? No. It was you created positive experiences. Every time she was with you, she felt good. She enjoyed your company. And that's why she changed her decision from don't know to yes. And once you got married, then when she got married, what was the decision? Her decision was not to leave you after 20 years of marriage. It wasn't a plan that, okay, abhi shadi kar lungi, and then once I get married after 10 years, we are going to have 2 kids and then I'm going to leave him. That was not the plan. The plan was to be with you for the next few years, maybe 30, 40, 50 years, whatever that is. But along the way, she started having negative experiences. And those negative experiences were not created only by you, it's by both of you. But she started having negative experience, and at that point, she said, I don't want to be with him. Now, what is the solution? You change those negative experiences into positive one. And when you change those positive experiences, how do you do it? It could be over a call. You could be talking to her for 30 seconds. Inside a community, one of the things I teach you, I do a role play. I'll tell you about it little later. Inside the community, I do a role play where I show that you're going to your wife's house. You're totally blocked on the phone. You're going to your wife's house and you're meeting her and you're saying hi. And she says, I don't want to see your face. And you're telling her, no problem, I understand. And then you leave. And you have spent 10 seconds. And I prove that in those 10 seconds, you have showed her that you're a different person. Different person. And then the shift happens. That is the beginning. That's the shift happens. And there are 5 steps your wife has to go through. I'll talk about it later. But that is the way you change her decision. If you got that, write GT in the chat box. Creating positive experiences. And how many experiences did you have to create? Lots of them. Not one experience will not change anything. And that is the biggest mistake people make. Take their family for a family meeting and think that if I have a family meeting, everything will change. That's not the way love comes back. Love happens with tiny interactions. So changing a decision. The second one is, in order to change a decision, you got to become a new person. Otherwise, your wife will think that you're doing a nautanki. Probably your wife has told you, "Arey yaar, ye nautanki band karo, ye drama band karo. Ye to maine bahut dekha hai." Like, don't be manipulative. How many of you have heard these words from your wife? Tell me in the chat box. Don't be manipulative. Don't do nautanki. I know everything. So the second thing is you got to invest in your personal development. Otherwise, you will be doing a drama over there. There will not be a real change. And when there is no real change inside you and your wife comes back, like many of you said, your wife left you for the third time because there was no real change. Your wife came back and she felt that you're not a modern alpha. And she left again. So you got to invest in your personal development. This is point number 2. You got to invest in your personal development. And remember, when you grow, everything around you grows. When you grow, when you change, she will change. Action, reaction. Third law of Newton. The next thing is managing emotions. How many of you don't know how to manage your anger? Be really honest. Nobody is looking at it. Write me in the chat box. Write me in the chat box. You don't know how to manage your anger. One of the biggest problems was anger in your marriage. Write me in the chat box. Be honest. Nobody is looking at your messages. How many of you feel that your wife doesn't know how to manage her anger? Write me in the chat box. Your wife doesn't know how to manage her anger. So the third thing is managing emotions. The other biggest emotion that you got to manage is the emotion of desperation. How many of you are, tell me honestly, how many of you are desperate right now to get your wife back, to see your children? Right? I in the chat box. Right? I in the chat box. And when you're desperate, can you get what you want? If you're a salesman, those of you who are in sales, and you are desperate to get a sale, do you get the sale? No. How many of you got that? So manage emotions, your emotion of desperation. The fourth thing is you got to practice forgiveness. You got to practice forgiveness. I know that you're angry at your wife. I know that for whatever she has done. I know that you're angry at your in-laws. I know that. But if you don't forgive them, that anger will show up. Then if there is anger, how can love come? Love only comes when you forgive. But is forgiving easy? Of course not. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. And then trust building skills. Right now, how many of you feel that your wife trusts your in-laws more than you? Right, I in the chat box. So the fifth thing is your wife, making your wife trust you again. So that when you are talking to her, she listens to you, she understands, and then she agrees with you rather than listening to her in-law, her parents, your in-laws. So trust building skills. Now, in the next part, I'm going to teach you about the journey, how to do it. I'm going to teach you all that. Also, I'm going to teach about the training. Okay, what is the training that you need to go through and how do you go through it? I'm going to talk about all that. But for now, here is the important question that I want to ask you. The question that I want to ask you is this. How many of you are ready for this journey? Write me in the chat box. It is a 12-week training program. And I'm going to talk about everything and then you make a decision. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also lay out a path for you. How are you going to change? How is your wife is going to change? Write ready in the chat box. Write R in the chat box or write me in the chat box. But let me tell you this journey is not for everyone. Let me be very, very honest. It is not for everyone. It is only for those who have the emotional intelligence to understand that there is nothing wrong with their marriage. It is only that they're stuck in power struggle. And whatever strategy they have used has not worked because it is brings down the respect that their wife has. And even if they get out of this marriage and if they don't learn emotional intelligence, the same thing will happen. Give you an example. Give you an example. Imagine that you want to buy an aeroplane. So what you do is when you want to buy an aeroplane, you look for a partner and with your partner, you buy this aeroplane. And on the day of flying this aeroplane, you call a lot of people, give them a big meal. And at the end of that, your partner and you are put inside the cockpit of the plane. And people around you tell you, okay, plane ko udao. Fly the plane. What do you think will happen? Either your plane will not take off or it will crash land. Why? Is it because you are bad? No. Is it because you are horrible? No. Is it your partner is bad? No. It's because both of you don't know how to fly the plane. The people who are intelligent, when they are not able to fly the plane, they look for somebody to teach them how to fly the plane. And when they learn, their partner learns. Simple as that. But people are not emotionally intelligent. What they do is they blame their partner, they will blame the partner's parent, they will blame the partner's childhood, and they get out of that plane. And when I'm talking about plane, I'm talking about marriage. And when they get out of that plane, after 2 or 3 years, they get into a new plane. What happens? The same thing, not because of their partner, not because of them. They don't know how to fly the plane. Simple. And then they get out of that plane, get into the next one. And every time they go through depression, they go through anger, they go through frustration. Not only them, their children go through depression, suicidal thoughts. And those children are brought to this earth without their permission by their parents. And as a parent, you have a huge responsibility for them because they did not ask to come to this earth. You brought them. If you understand what I'm talking about, then this journey is for you. If you really love your children and you want to do everything for them, then this journey is for you. If you feel that you are going through struggle and you know you have only one life and you don't want to waste it, and getting out of a marriage is easy, but that's not the solution. Living in a miserable marriage is a compromise, but that's not a solution. If you understand all this, then I welcome you to this 12-week training. And my question for you is, how many of you realize right now that there is a lot more to learn when it comes to relationship science? Type yes in the chat box. All that I could touch was the tip of the iceberg. Right? Yes in the chat box. And from now on, I want you to pay very good attention, because I'm going to show you exactly how the path is. What are the things you got to learn? The second question is, how many of you realize right now that if you don't learn this science, your marriage will become more and more miserable? Right? I do in the chat box. If you don't learn this science, your children will suffer even more. Right? I'm sorry. I do in the chat box. If you don't learn this science, after about 2 or 3 years, you'll get out of this marriage right now. And probably after 2 or 3 years, you'll get into one more marriage. You might be married to somebody who is a divorcee, and the same thing will repeat in your marriage. How many of you realize this? The same depression, same frustration, same helplessness, same suicidal thoughts. You'll go through it again. How many of you realize this? Right? I do in the chat box. That's why I teach what I'm teaching today. The kind of love I have, the kind of understanding I have, the magical relationship that I have, it didn't happen automatically. It happened because of the learning. And this training program, it has different membership levels, but the first part is the training. And I'm going to talk about it right now. So is it okay if I share the path with you, if I share with you what is this training program about, and then finally you take a decision? If that is okay with you, write yes in the chat box. And I want you to stay till I talk about everything. If you're going to be there, write IP in the chat box. Write IP in the chat box. That is, I promise. Because I know the pain you're going through. And a spur, every time we make a decision, is at the spur of a moment. And I want you to make that decision at the right moment. Right moment. I really appreciate each one of you. And I want you to stay till the end, listen to everything that I'm sharing, and make notes. From here onwards, I'm going to just focus on what I'm sharing, and let's just get into this journey. So this journey is called Modern Alpha Reset Training. Let me share my screen with you. It is called Modern Alpha Reset Training. That means you are going to reset yourself. It is a 12-week training. So how is it going to go? There are 3 parts to this training. You can make notes as we go along. There are 3 parts to this training. The first part of this training is called self-love reset. You got to love yourself first, and then your wife is going to love you. If you lose your respect in front of your wife is not going to love you. So self-love reset. The second part is called Modern Alpha Reset. And the third part is called Show Up Reset. I'm going to talk about each of them in detail. So the first part is self-love reset. So what is self-love reset? Right now you're feeling depressed, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling anger, and then you're trying to connect with your wife. And when you're trying to connect with your wife, you're carrying those energies to her. And when you're carrying those, and desperate, and you're carrying those energies, does your wife get attracted to you? When you have those energies of depression, anxiety, worry, does your wife get attracted to you? Of course not. When you desperately beg her, will she get attracted to you? No. So the first thing is you got to love yourself. And there are 3 parts to loving yourself. The first part of this training, the first part of this loving yourself is self-love formula. This is a video training that you'll go through when you get inside the program. And when you go through this video training, you'll understand what is the exact meaning of self-love. The meaning of self-love is not to go to the bar or the pub and dance and go to an exotic place and put photographs on Facebook to make your wife feel jealous. Now, that is not self-love. That is not self-love. Okay? I don't know what that is, but that's not self-love. A lot of people do that, right? Probably your wife is doing that. It is not self-love, because she might be crying in the bathroom the same night. That's not self-love. So the first thing is self-love, video training. The second thing is hero voice mastery. What is hero voice mastery? Do you agree that inside your head there is a voice? And right now that voice is talking all crap, negative stuff. And that negative stuff is making you feel desperate, anxious, worried. You're thinking about what will happen. you have to take control of that voice. If you don't take control of that voice will ruin your life. Is that making sense to you? Write MS in the chat box if that is making sense. You have to control that voice, and that's what I teach you inside this video training. The third thing is daily self-love practice. What I've noticed with me and others is the way you start your day is the way your day is going to go. If you start your day, feeling miserable, depressed, frustrated, irritated, your whole day will be like that. And that's why every morning, Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 7:10 in the morning, we have something called daily love practice. Every morning, Monday to Friday. And in this daily love practice, you're going to start the day by dancing. Imagine. Because if you're dancing, then your body is moving, you're feeling happy. Now your day will be good. And if your day is good, you will be able to focus on your career. You'll focus on your business. You're feeling relaxed. And then you go to your wife without desperation. Now you are able to listen, understand, and connect. And she will be able to notice the changes. So you start the day with dancing. The second thing you're going to do is meditation. Once you do the meditation, there is sharing. Then after sharing, you're going to write gratitude. You read the affirmations. You're going to plan your day. Imagine that every morning, Monday to Friday. And we have some of the most amazing men who are the DLP leaders. And these are the men who joined just like you. They were going through depression. They were going through frustration. They were having suicidal thoughts. And when they got in, they started following the process. They started coming out of these problems. And today, they teach you. They teach you, they guide you, they are with you. They are an amazing, amazing group of people. They work at different areas. They are business owners. They work in, some of them work in airlines. They got their own companies. You name it. We got these amazing men supporting you. The second part is modern alpha reset. So we are done with self-love. You're loving yourself. Now you have to learn how to become a modern alpha. So these are the video trainings that you're going to go through, and I'm going to go through each of them step by step. The first video training you'll go through is called Woman Mindset Blueprint. It's also called Marriage Awesome Blueprint. So inside this, you're going to understand exactly why your wife is behaving the way she is doing. You're going to understand the brain and the mind of your wife. And when you understand that, you can connect with her. You understand that when she says that I don't want to see your face, she doesn't mean that she doesn't want to see your face. She means something else. You'll understand that. And then there is a specific training for each of you. For example, if you are together living in the same house, you have a very specific training. If you are going through a separation right now, you will have a very specific training. If you are right now going through a divorce process, you have a very specific training. So all of you, no matter where you are, there's a very specific training for you. The next thing is managing anger. Many of you told me that you have a problem with managing anger. Many of you told me that your wife has problem with managing anger. So you get a bundle that has 3 parts. The first part is the anger style quiz. The second part is the ebook. And the third part is the 7-day challenge. So you're going to learn the science behind anger. What is anger? What is your and your wife's anger style? Because all of us get angry. But the way we show anger, different. So you have to learn that. The next thing is how to manage your anger, what to do when your wife is angry. And then there are 7 challenges that you're going to go through, like take back the remote, slow down, time out, repair moments, managing self, and managing self when you're angry, managing your wife's anger challenge. Now, when you go through this and then you meet your wife, now will you be angry when she's shouting at you? No, you will be calm as cucumber. And when your wife looks at you and she says to herself, what happened to this guy? This is not the same person. And that's where her change begins. So this is anger. The next one is awesome marriage forgiveness formula. I know that you're very, very hurt by your wife's behavior. I know that you're hurt by your in-laws' behavior. Now you got to forgive them, gentlemen. Is forgiving easy? No. I heard men saying, oh yeah, I have forgiven my wife, but she shouldn't have done this. That is not forgiveness. You're not feeling it. And if you're not forgiven them, you will not be able to connect with them. When you're not able to connect with them, how will your wife come back? You go for a family meeting, your wife, you are hurt, your parents are hurt, you're sitting there, your anger is coming out even when you're talking softly. How will the love come back? So you have to learn how to forgive. So you are going to learn the importance to forgive, the science behind forgiveness, power of forgiveness, and you're going to do a powerful meditation exercise. The next thing is trust building. The problem, the foundational problem in your marriage is your wife trusts other people more than you. And you got to learn how to make her trust you. It doesn't come from telling her that, you got to trust me. Your husband. I've married you. No, it doesn't happen that way. You have to learn the science behind trust. So when you make her trust you by learning, love rupees, these are concepts. These are scientific concepts. Love rupees, depositing love, withdrawal of love. How do you deposit love in our emotional bank account? When you learn all these things, the love comes back, the trust comes back. The next one is blocked to unblocked. Many of you told me that you're blocked at this moment. And if you don't learn how to talk to your wife, interact with her, how do you make a unblock you? Your wife is going to keep you blocked for the rest of your life. Then what are you going to do? So block to unblocked formula for all those of you who are going through a separation and you're blocked at this moment. The next thing is affair to affection. Some of you told me that your wife is having an affair. Some of you told me that you had an affair. Now, what do you do in this situation? Do you tell her? Do you not tell her? When you find out that from the phone that she's having a lot of intimate conversations with somebody else, what do you do? Everything is connected, is covered in this so that you can end the affair. So that is about modern alpha reset. So by going through all this, you'll know exactly what to do. Now, once you learn that, now you have to do it, right? And that is called show up reset. Show up is you got to show the change that has happened in you. You can't go to your wife and tell her that, I got into this program. It costed me so many thousand rupees and now I have a changed person. So now I've lost, I'm not getting angry at all. No, your wife will not believe that. You got to show it. And that is, for that, you got to go through show up reset. So I'm going to talk about show up reset. So inside this, the first thing is awesome marriage separation to connection. This is a video training where you're going to understand how do you connect with your wife as a alpha. How do you connect with her? Even if you're living in the same house, how do you connect with her? How do you talk to her? How do you interact with her? All this is covered inside this separation to connection. The next thing is Herothon intense training. This was the training I used to do earlier, and you get the access to all the recordings of this training, and it is called Herothon intense training. The next one is a very, very powerful thing that happens every month. At the end of the month, it's a live session on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday. Generally, it's the last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We start at 8 p.m. in the evening to 10:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the night. We have a 3-hour training for 3 days. This is a very, very powerful training. And when you go through this training, there are a couple of things will happen. One, there will be rewiring of your brain. The second thing, you will come out of your depression, your frustration. You will know exact strategies every day to implement when you feel negative. The third thing, I show you through role plays. I'm going to do role plays and I'm going to show you how do you behave in front of your wife if you're living in the same house. If your wife is fighting with you, how do you be? I'm going to show you a role play. Not only that, I'm going to show you a role play where your wife is, you're going through a separation right now and you go to your wife's house. Exactly how do you talk? I'm going to show you a role play where I show you exactly how do you talk if there is a judge, if there is a lawyer and you're there with your wife. What do you do exactly? All that is covered inside this. It's a live session. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every month we have this live session. So this is a show up reset. So we have covered 3 things. The self-love reset, you're going to love yourself first. The second thing is modern alpha reset. That is, you're going to learn to become a modern alpha and then show that person to your wife. Now, here are frequently asked questions. So you might have these questions. So I'm going to answer them very quickly before you make that decision. The first question is, how will my wife change? Okay, well, I'm going to get into this program. I'm going to learn. Okay, I'm going to go to my wife's house, meet her exactly the way you're telling me. But how will my wife change? There are 5 steps. The first step of this journey is where your wife is right now. If you talk to your wife, she says something like this. You tell me whether it is true or not. If you talk to your wife, she says something like this. She says, I'm done so much for you. You don't understand me. You don't love me. You don't care about me. You don't think about me. Your parents have done this. Your parents have done that. You have told me this. You have done that. Is it true? Is your wife telling you like this whenever you talk to her? If it is a yes, write yes in the chat box. Whenever you try to talk to her, your wife talks like this. If it is a yes, write yes in the chat box. You don't understand, you don't think about me, you don't care about me, I have done so much for you. Write yes in the chat box if your wife is talking like this. Now that is called your wife is in a victim mindset. So the first thing that is going to happen is when you become a modern alpha and you start showing that part of your wife is going to notice. She's going to notice the changes in you. Your wife cannot not notice the changes in you. Just the way you say hello to your wife will see the changes in you. Because the human brain picks up the change in the other person at 1/300th of a millisecond. That is faster than blinking your eyes. And when your wife notices the changes in you, she's not going to trust you directly. She's going to doubt the changes in you. She's going to tell herself that why is he behaving different? I think it is manipulation. And then she's going to resist the changes in you. She's going to tell you on your face, ये सब नाटकी बंद करो. This is all drama. You're being a manipulator. I know the real person. And at this particular point, most men give up. Most men give up because they think that, I've tried, yaar, maine koshish ki hai, but my wife doesn't want. No, that is the step. Your wife tests you before she trusts you. That every woman does. It is before marriage, also after marriage. Your wife needs to test you before she trusts you, so that once you pass that test, now she is going to trust. So the next step is she's going to trust you. And then awesome marriage, coming together and the deep connection. Now, the next question is who this training is for. So this training is for you. Very clear. If you're together, living like roommates, if you're separated and you want her to come back, if you're going through a divorce, then you want to withdraw those cases, false allegations, all that is happening. You want to end all that and you want to come together. If you have already divorced and you're saying to yourself, either you're saying to yourself, I want to get my wife back because I have a child, I have my wife, I want this relationship to work out. Or you're saying to yourself, I want to move on, I want to get married to somebody else, but I don't want to have the same problem again. I don't want this to repeat. The next one is if you are in a relationship and either you're going through a breakup or you want to improve your relationship, or you're not married and you're saying to yourself, even before I get married, I've seen enough separations, enough divorces, and I don't want to see that in my marriage, and you want to learn. This is for you. Very clear. Even if you're blocked or fair, all this is for you. The next one is when does the training begin? The training begins as soon as you get into the program. As soon as you get into the program, you're going to get a WhatsApp message with the clear instructions, link to the app, the next steps you're going to follow, because I don't want you to wait for another 15 days for the training to begin and within those 15 days things to go worse. No, I want the training to start right now. As soon as you get in, the training begins. The next question, how much do I need to invest? How much do I need to invest? Many of you would have this question. But before I tell you how much you need to invest, I'm going to talk about few more things. Okay. And I think I've got this question. Just give me one. Yeah, I've got this question at the end. So I'm going to go to this question little later. Okay. How much do I need to invest? But let me come to the next question is what can I expect in 12 weeks? What you can expect if you put everything into practice very religiously, you're going to expect a couple of things. In the next 1 week to 2 weeks, you will come out of your depression, frustration, all the personal problems will disappear. Depression, anger, irritation, frustration, suicidal thoughts, all that will disappear. On the relationship front, depending on the damage that is done, you will start seeing the progress. In some of your cases, you might have a lot of connection. It has happened earlier for a lot of people. In some of your cases, your wife will start talking to you for hours. In some of your cases, your wife might withdraw the cases. So all that is possible because I've seen it. I've seen it happening for many men, but it depends. It really depends on the damage that is done to the relationship. But one thing guaranteed, you will not feel what you're feeling right now. You will feel amazing, amazing. You'll feel confident. You'll feel energetic to handle the situation. So I spoke about what can I expect in the next 12 weeks. The next question is, what if I have questions? Suppose if you have questions, what do? There are two ways I help you. One is we have something called Awesome Marriage Solution Library. What is Awesome Marriage Solution Library? Awesome Marriage Solution Library is where I put down the answers to a lot of questions that people have. The second way I answer questions is every Monday at 9 o'clock. We have a special session only for the inner circle. And within that, I answer questions. The next is there any on demand personal support? That means, well, okay, Monday you are answering questions, but sometimes I need answers immediately. Is there a way to reach out to you? The answer is yes. Anytime you have a question, I'm going to give you an email as soon as you get into the program through the WhatsApp message. You send me emails anytime, and I'm going to respond to you within 24 to 48 hours. Now, this is about on demand personal support. The next question people ask me is there any class for wife? Yes, there is a class for wife, and generally I do it once in 2 months. And your wife can attend it, but she will only attend it when she starts seeing the changes in you. She will not attend by you telling, I have attended a class, it's very good, you go for it. No, it won't work that way. But when she starts seeing the changes in you, she will say, I want to attend it, and I'll guide you how to go about that. Now, the next question is, can I get a chance to talk to you or your team personally? How many of you have this question? Write me in the chat box. I want to talk to you personally. Write me in the chat box. How many of you have question like this? I want to talk to you personally. Can I get a chance? Write me in the chat box. The answer is yes. You will have a chance to talk to me. And if I'm busy, then you will have a chance to talk to one of my team members. And in that, I'm going to guide you very, very specifically. I'm going to ask you very specific questions. And looking at those questions, I will know exactly what your situation is. And I'm going to guide you very specifically. So you will get a chance to talk to me. Okay. So this is the next question. The next question that people have is, how much does this training cost? How much does this training cost? So let's look at how much it costs. Let's start with the first one. That is, how much did you spend on your wedding? Ask yourself, how much did you spend on your wedding? At least 2 lakhs, maybe 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. How much did you spend on your wedding? That's my first question. The second thing is, what is the cost of your mental health? You're going through depression. What is the cost of that? The third question is, what is the cost of your physical health? If because of this tension, if because of this worries, if something happens to your physical health, what's the cost of that? The next question is, what is the cost of you losing your job, your business, your career? One of the things people tell me is, well, everything was going fine, but when problems happened in my marriage, my business went down. My career went down. I lost my job. Think about it. Think about it. The next question is, what is the cost of your child's future? Yes, I know that you're sending them to a good school. I know that you're buying those nice fancy bags. You're sending your child to karate. You're sending them to all this. But if his mental health is not great, is there a possibility, because the things are not going great in the house, there are fights happening, arguments happening, is there a possibility your child getting into depression, your child getting into wrong company because there is no love back home? Is there a possibility? Would you like that to happen? What is the cost of your child's future? Because these questions nobody asks, and I want to ask those. If I have to put it in amount, can I say it is at least 6 lakhs? It will be much more than that, because for some of you would have spent 6 lakhs on your wedding itself. The next question I have is, how much will it worth if you have this? The first is peace in your home, peace in your mind, and peace in your home. The second thing is your wife falls in love with you again. The third thing is your children are happy. The fourth thing is you can excel in your career and you have great physical intimacy. Think about it. How much will it worth? So before I get into just show you, what are you going to pay? I want you to know this. I want you to know that it is possible. Like this man who says, I want to share a good news with you. My spouse coming to live with me on 19 December. He's saying, good evening, Val. As today is my son's birthday, together with my wife, we celebrated it. It happened only due to your coaching. Many of you are saying you're living like roommates. He was living like a roommate. And he says, my wife invited me to be physically intimate with her last night. When was the last time you were physically intimate with your wife? If it is possible for him, it is possible for you. So the modern Alpha Reset training, the total value of it is 1.5 lakhs. And you're not going to pay 1.5 lakhs. What you're going to pay is 20,000 rupees. You're going to pay 20,000 rupees. Now, I'm going to give you a very special offer if you're going to stay till the end. Is that okay? If you're going to stay till the end, I'm going to give you a very special offer. But before that, can I give you something special right now? Can I give you something special right now? If it is a yes, here is something special. For the first 5 men who are enrolling, the first 5 men who are enrolling, you will get DLP, that is daily love practice, live session, not for 12 weeks. You get it for 1 year. Monday meetup, live Q&A session. You'll not get it for 12 weeks. You'll get it for 1 year. The next one is Modern Alpha Live Boot Camp. The 3 days intense boot camp, the live session I was talking about, you get it for not just for 12 weeks, you get it for 1 year. You get access to the video training, not only for 12 weeks, but you get it for 1 year. The next thing is you're going to pay just 20,000 rupees. Now, before I tell you the special offer, let me tell you why I'm doing this. The reason I'm doing this is because I was where exactly you are. There was no love, there was no connection, there was no understanding, there were fights happening, arguments happening. Compared to today, just now before I started the session, Pallavi came here, she gave me a hug and a kiss, and she said that I love you, I'm with you, and I want that to happen to you. Few years ago, I remember I was investing money into Facebook, my ads were not working, people were not joining, I was losing money, and there was a month I had no money to pay for my credit card bills. And Pallavi came to me, she said, what happened? And I said, I don't have the money. And she said, don't worry, my dad has given me the money. Before wedding, I'll give it to you. Use that and pay the credit card bills. And then what she said next brought tears to my eyes. She said, Val, if we go up, let's go up together. If you go down, let's go down together. I want that to happen to you. I want that love to come back. I want that understanding to come back. And I know from the bottom of my heart, it is possible. So for all those of you who stayed till the end, you show me that you're committed, you're serious. And for all those of you who are here, I'm going to give you a very special offer. And that is masterclass offer for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to put a timer right now for 10 minutes. And if you get into the program within the next 10 minutes, and if you're the first 5, of course, you get 1 year, otherwise 12 weeks. If you're the first 5, you get 1 year, and you're not going to pay 20,000 rupees. You're going to pay, you're not even going to pay 1.5 lakhs or 20,000 for the next 10 minutes. You're going to pay 9,999, 50% off. Team, please share the link in the chat box. The link is very, very simple, coachval.co/man. Go to that link and make the payment. Or you can also use the QR code, make the payment. And once you make the payment, my team will share a link with you where a link to a Google form, fill up that Google form and will enroll you after the session. Okay. So what happens once you use the link and make the payment? If you're using the link and making the payment, directly you will be enrolled and you will get a WhatsApp message with the instructions. The first message will have 3 steps in it. You complete those 3 steps, and 1 hour later, you'll get one more message saying that urgent task. And in that, there will be a form that you got to fill up. When you fill up that form, I will be able to call you up because I'll understand your situation, everything by looking at that form. And after that, there's one more message about what are the courses you got to complete and everything about the live session, and everything will be shared there. So go ahead. I'm going to put a timer right now for 10 minutes, and this offer is valid for the next 10 minutes, and it is only for people who are here. And if you are somebody who is a brought back love, I'm going to show you more, but right now I've shown you more than enough. So make that decision right now, because you have children. Here we are not talking about a job, we are talking about your life. If you miss this opportunity about your children, you're going to lose them forever. And there is no point in complaining, because by complaining, nothing changes. The rule of life is this: if I want to change things around me, I got to change myself first. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. When I change my action, the reaction changes. In order to change the action of mine, I got to learn what action of mine I need to change. But our normal brain is not able to understand that, because our brain hides our action. Even if you are saying to me, well, I've understood what my mistakes are and I've changed, but right now, what is the mistake you're making right now, not the past, right now, you don't know. And when you get into the program and you start learning, that's where you understand what are the mistakes you're making. And once you learn that by going through the video training, by going through the program, and then you work on your self love, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your emotions, and then you do the show up, where I'm going to teach you in the boot camp. How do you do the show up? Let's say you're living in the same house. How do you do a show up in the morning? How do you show that you have become a modern alpha? How do you talk to her? What is your tone? What is your body language? What exactly do you say? You know exactly what to do. It is not that you can't afford. You can. But probably there is something in your mind that stopped you. Something in your mind that stopped you. My question for you is, I want you to look at your life. Forget about your marriage. I want you to look at your life and ask yourself, there were times in your life, there was an opportunity that came your way. You looked at it. You had a lot of questions. Will it work? Will it not? Should I go for it? Should I not? I'm spending so much money. What if I lose money? And then the opportunity was moving and the opportunity was gone. Opportunity was gone. In your marriage, probably it was the same. Those of you are going through a separation and things were going worse, and instead of learning, instead of going to YouTube, instead of checking, finding a coach, you try to fix it yourself. Instead of investing, you try to fix it yourself.